Once upon a time in a faraway kingdom, there lived a beautiful princess who was loved by everyone in the kingdom. The princess had a lovely singing voice, and whenever she would sing, birds would stop by to listen to her. One day, the king went out hunting and was approached by an old woman who offered him a deal. She said, "If you let me live in your castle, I will give you a magic ring." The king accepted the deal, and the old woman moved into the castle. That night, while the king was asleep, the old woman placed a magic ring on his finger. The moment he put it on, he turned into a frog and hopped out of the window. The king was now a frog, and the old woman laughed wickedly. The king turned into a frog and hopped around the garden for a while. Then he saw a little girl sitting on a nearby stone. He asked her, "Can you please throw me into the nearest lake?" The girl picked up the frog and threw him into the lake. As soon as he hit the water, the frog spoke. He said, "Thank you for setting me free. I am actually a prince who was cursed by an evil witch. Only a princess's kiss can break the curse. But all the princesses in this kingdom are ugly and dumb." The prince looked at the girl who had saved him and said, "You are not like the other girls. You must be from a different kingdom. Will you break my curse?" The girl thought for a moment. Then she leaned down and kissed the frog on his forehead. The frog closed his eyes and waited for something to happen, but nothing did. He opened his eyes and asked the girl, "Why didn't you kiss me?" The girl replied, "I'm sorry, but you don't look very handsome, so I don't want to kiss you." The frog was deeply hurt by her words. He felt like he had been rejected. The frog prince tried to convince the girl to kiss him, but she refused. He told her that he was once a handsome king, but she didn't believe him. He begged her to just take a peek at his reflection in the lake, but she still refused. The frog prince was sad, so he jumped onto a nearby lily pad and sat down. As the girl walked away, she heard a small voice. It said, "Hey, come back here." She stopped and looked around, but she couldn't see anyone. "Who said that?" The voice said it again. "Hey, I'm over here." The girl saw the frog prince waving his little hand from the lily pad. She couldn't help but giggle at the sight. The frog prince noticed the girl looking at him and thought this was his chance to convince her to look at his reflection. He said, "Please, just take a quick look at my reflection. I promise you'll be the only one who knows my secret." The girl hesitated, but she couldn't resist his pleading eyes. She took a peek into the lake and gasped. The reflection staring back at her was that of a handsome king. The frog prince smiled and said, "See, I told you." The girl was shocked. She couldn't believe that the frog she had saved was actually a handsome king. She felt honored to have played a part in breaking his curse. As the girl walked away, the frog prince changed back into a handsome king. He took off his frog skin and put on his royal robes. Then he went to find the old woman and confronted her. The king was furious and demanded that she tell him how to break the curse. The old woman was scared of the king, so she told him the truth. She said that only a princess's kiss could break the curse. But every princess in the kingdom was ugly and stupid. The king wasn't willing to marry an ugly princess. So the old woman suggested that he look for a princess from a different kingdom. The king followed her advice and went on a journey to find a beautiful princess who could break his curse. Meanwhile, the girl who had saved the king returned home. She thought about the handsome king she had seen in the lake as reflection and couldn't help but smile. She knew that he was destined to become a great king, and she felt lucky to have helped him. Many years passed, and the king still hadn't found a princess to marry. He had given up hope of ever breaking the curse when suddenly a beautiful princess from a neighboring kingdom arrived. She was even more stunning than he had imagined. The king was immediately smitten with her, and they were married soon after. At the wedding, the king remembered the girl who had saved him from the lake. He went to find her and thanked her again for her kindness. The king offered her a noble title and asked her to stay by the princess's side as her lady-in-waiting. The girl was honored and accepted the offer. As the years went by, the king and the princess had children and ruled over their kingdom wisely and fairly. The girl who had saved the frog prince from the lake became a close friend of the princess, and they shared many happy moments together. The memory of the frog prince's curse was long forgotten, and everyone in the kingdom lived happily ever after.